So last night I was scrolling through my YouTube analytics when I came across this comment from one of my 20%, and they said, "Can you make a video on how to add color? You don't have to, but it would really help me." 20%. After considering the comment for a while, I thought it would be best to give advice from the top. Basically tell you how to start drawing from scratch and eventually build up to adding color. Plus that comment came from a 20%, so I know I can't let them down. Oh, by the way, if you don't understand what this whole 20% thing is, just stick around in this video long enough and you are guaranteed to find out. Moving on. So basically this video is my single best piece of advice I have to offer to beginner artists. And no, this is not one of those generic art advice that's like, you need to nail your composition, perspective, forms and structure, and you also need to master color theory. No. Personally, I think that's too much for a beginner, especially for someone that literally just got into art. So stick around till the end so that you can understand my slightly controversial piece of advice. As most of you probably guessed, judging from all my art, I started drawing because of anime. Well, no. I know it's crazy, but I don't watch anime. It's usually a shock to all my friends cause all 18-year-olds in 2024 have a background in anime, right? Well, wrong. I am the outlier. When the guys gather and start discussing the most insane moments of JJK that they watched last night, I just stand there looking like a pineapple, completely oblivious to everything they were saying. When I was much younger, in like grade 1 I think, I had this book of cartoon characters. And one day I took a piece of paper, traced it, took it to school the next day, showed my friends, and needless to say, they were astonished. And in that moment, I thought I had cracked the code to artistic breakthrough. In my mind, I had to find more complex things to trace, then take it to school and show them off to my fellow grade 1 friends. I did that for a few days and got bored of it. Now you can probably guess where I'm going with this. The single best piece of advice that I can give to beginner artists is to just copy. Just copy. Now what do I mean by that? I literally mean just copy other people's work. You probably think I'm crazy, but I don't think that the best way to learn is to draw boxes or prisms or spheres or to even learn the basic art fundamentals. Now, I'm not saying that those are bad ways of learning, because the fact is that learning all those things is the most efficient way of learning, but it's also the fastest way to kill your passion for art, because art is literally just that, a passion, and most people go through life without actually finding their passions. So we as artists, believe it or not, are extremely lucky to have found our passion in life, and we should treat it with extreme care. So that's why I say that the best piece of advice I can give to beginner artists is to copy other people's work. Now, do not mistake me, I do not mean plagiarism. Do not plagiarize people's work. What I mean is look at their work and try to reproduce it yourself, even if that means tracing. And if you trace, do not pass it off as your own. When I look back at my grade 1 times, I now know I should not have done that. Copying people's work can actually have a lot of beneficial properties that you probably don't even realize on a surface level. When you try to reproduce someone else's work, it forces you to observe the piece very closely so that you can get it as accurate as possible. And that builds on your observation skills, which, if you haven't yet realized, is probably the most important skill you could have as an artist. As you observe the techniques other artists use, you're expanding and broadening your own mental library. What I mean by mental library is the information you've learned from somewhere and has been stored in your brain. I honestly don't believe in drawing from imagination. In my opinion, it's impossible. So many people confuse drawing from imagination as drawing from memory. Think of it this way. Even if you created the most insanely hyper-realistic drawing without a reference, you're still just copying from real life. You used your observation skills and stored how objects look in real life in your mental library, and when you made the drawing, you just projected on the paper that which was already stored in your mental library. I think you're starting to understand what I mean when I say copying is literally one of the best ways to learn. Not only that, but copying is actually fun because it relieves the stress of having to think about all the other meticulous and crucial details that go into an art piece, because someone else has already gone through that stress for you. And as you have fun while drawing, chances are you do not give up on art before your journey even starts. And your passion for drawing is going to be sustained for a very, very long time. If you want any of my art as prints or posters, check the pinned comment or the first link in the description. If you got this far into the video, you're part of my 20%, so drop a 20% in the comments. Thank you for watching.